Good morning, friends. So I hope you all know about this changing on in time of the Hindu analysis. From today onwards, we are going to have the Hindu analysis at 11:30 a.m. Okay, and I hope you all are aware of this. So let's begin the Hindu analysis for 6th of October 2020. So let's begin with our first section of the day, which is thought of the day. So as we promised, we are going to cover Gandhi. So, as per this thought, Gandhi says that live as if you were to die tomorrow and learn as if you were to live forever. That is, he asks you to live on the edge, to do the best you can, to perform in a best efficient manner so that you can achieve your goals, and learn in a manner so that you are going to live forever, so that you can have all the wisdom you want, you can have information to take right decisions, to have proper decision for yourself. Okay, and this will help you to live a better life. So the most from we can get from this statement is that we have to live a better life. Okay, the days doesn't matter in life, but the quality of days matters. Okay, and that is only possible if you have better information, better knowledge, better wisdom to decide upon the course of your life. Okay, that's it for this one. Moving to next section, which is significance of the date. So here we are going to talk about three things. One, you have to search at your own. The first thing I am talking about is about the first feature film which has had proper synchronized speech as well as music and sound effect. It was released in 1928 by the Warner Brothers. Okay, the Warner Brothers was the production house, and the name of the film, the movie was The Jazz Singer. The Jazz Singer. So this was kind of a remarkable movie, and after this movie, the era of silent movies ended. Okay, in India we had this first movie Alamara. I think Alamara was first movie, and Raja Harishchandra was the first silent movie of India, which came in I think 1931 something, and Alamara was first movie with synchronized sound in India. Okay. Now coming to the next point, which is about Le Corbusier. You might know about this name, Le Corbusier. He was a Swiss French architect. Okay, he designed many buildings world over, and most of his designs or the buildings he designed are now under World Heritage status. Even the designs of Chandigarh, he designed the buildings, the judicial house and this palace, legislative palace. And he even planned the city of Chandigarh. So, Chandigarh is one of the better planned city of modern India. Okay, Bhubaneswar, Naya Raipur, Chandigarh. These are the planned infrastructure, planned cities of India, of modern India, which can have better prospects in future with better living standards. Right. So the planned cities have their own advantages. So the first such city planned in India was by Le Corbusier, was the Chandigarh. Okay, and he designed several buildings. Now they have been recognized under the World Heritage Site by this UNESCO. Many parts of the city have been recognized. The Rock Garden is there in Chandigarh, was also designed by this one. Okay, so he was a designer, a painter, urban planner, writer, and one of the pioneers, now regarded one of the pioneers of modern architecture. So this was his achievements, and I think you should search about the UNESCO rated World Heritage Site of India, especially those covered in last 5 to 6 years. Okay, go through them, like Mumbai, some parts of Mumbai, and this Lutyens Delhi. Okay, you might know about the another architect, Lutyens, who designed this Parliament House and this Rashtrapati Bhavan in Delhi. Okay, so do make a search about this UNESCO City Heritage status to Mumbai, the Lutyens Delhi, so that you can make an arrangement of all these at one proper place. Okay, this would hardly take 15 minutes of yours. Okay. Next one is about the birth anniversary of Meghnad Saha. He was a great astrophysicist in India, and he is known for his Saha equation. Saha's equation. Okay, and this cosmic equation opened the doors for interstellar research. Okay, so he was a kind of very prominent astrophysicist in India, born in Dhaka, and he was from a poor family and went through his struggles to rise to the prominent position of being a scientist, and he was a royal fellow of that London in 1927. Okay, So do search about him. He was a prominent scientist from India and one of the inspirers to our next generation scientists like Abdul Kalam, who has himself become an inspiration to many other young scientists in India. Okay. So moving on to the next news section now, what we are going to cover today. Today's session would be a bit longer because we have to cover a bit more news today, especially this agriculture section part about the farm bills. So Nobel Prize for Medicine has been awarded to, okay, we will talk about this. Then Delhi's anti-pollution plan has been there. Then NCR Regional Plan 2041 has been there. It's under planning. Then menace of trans fat and its awareness and India's targets on it. We'll see. This is under part of nutrition, GS paper 2. Okay, GS paper 2. That polity. In that second section, issue of poverty, hunger. In that nutrition is a section. Then 3 Farm Act and their constitutionality and data on MSP. Here we will see the Farm Acts and the federalism which they are threatening. Then guidelines for reopening of schools. Now schools have been allowed to be opened from 15th of October and the Education Ministry has now allowed it, and they have provided proper guidelines for opening of schools in India. Then meeting of Quad is to be there, so it would be held in Japan, and foreign ministers like the foreign minister Mr. Jaishankar would be attending this summit of Quad, and it is kind of anti-China summit, so we will see what their pros and cons are. Then virtual summit on artificial intelligence, in which was addressed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and we will see all these in detail. Let us begin with our first topic of the day, friends. The first topic of the day is virus researchers got the Nobel Prize for Medicine. The research on hepatitis C virus, the recognition or the identification of hepatitis C virus has fed him or has provided them with this Nobel Prize for 2020. Okay, 2 Americans and 1 Briton has won the 2020 Nobel Prize for Medicine. They are the Harvey J. Alter, Charles M. Rice, and the Briton one is Michael Houghton. Okay, Michael Houghton. They actually did what? They developed a vaccine also. The virus that in a blood, they proved that a blood-borne virus could even cause hepatitis C. They did not develop the vaccine. They identified the virus, and it was a kind of blood-borne virus. Okay, and it was very much significant because this virus was a cause for death. About 4 lakh people per year died because of this virus. Okay, so this was a kind of very significant achievement because this provided a breakthrough to the medical industry to prevent this hepatitis C spread. Okay, and this is kind of waterborne disease. Okay, so and also the blood hepatitis was caused by a virus that came to be known as hepatitis B. So earlier Nobel Prize was given for some hepatitis B virus. Now it is for hepatitis C. That's it. I think that's enough for this one. Moving on to the next topic, friends. The next topic is related to this CM announces anti-pollution campaign ahead of winter. So we all know that during this time of October to December, Delhi mainly suffers from pollution. So recently one NGO has also asked this EPCA, Environmental Protection Committee, to ban the crackers. We all know that Diwali is now coming. It is hardly 1 month for now Diwali. So the crackers would be there in use. So they are asking to ban the crackers in Delhi so that the problem of this pollution caused by crackers could be avoided. Because they are one of the biggest source of pollution, which suddenly changes the pollution graph of Delhi every year during the beginning of winter. Okay, you might have noticed it that even the 2016 and 17 smog was turned disaster kind of worse after this cracker pollution on Diwali. Now coming to the plan that Mr. Kejriwal has framed, he says that the campaign is called as this Yuddha Pradushan Ke Viruddh, as the name being given to the campaign against pollution. He says that various steps have been taken, like the launching of Green Delhi app, then war room to monitor steps on real-time basis have been there. Then this PUSA Agriculture Research Institute in Delhi has created a fermented liquid solution to be sprayed on the fields to soften the stubble and prevent it from burning. and this would be provided to farm fields so as to prevent the stubble burning, the pollution caused by stubble burning. Then hotspot have been identified, and hotspot specific actions have been planned to be the part of campaign. Okay, he also said that he has launched an anti-dust drive on Monday, under which various actions will be implemented. Okay, severe fine would be provided on those who are violating the construction norms. Then mechanical sweepers will be used by the civic bodies across the Delhi to ensure no pollution is caused by the road dust. Then anti-smog guns are also installed, which consists this water, okay, the gun of water, which is used to settle down the particulate matter. Then pothole reparation would be done. Then planning for each hotspot would be there. So a various number of steps have been taken by the government of Delhi to reduce or to prevent the pollution which is expected to come during the winter months, as it occurs every year. Okay, and especially in the wake of this pandemic, this pollution could be quite deadly. So moving on to the next one. The next one is all about the Regional Plan 2041. So let me tell you, this National Capital Region was formed after an amendment. If you might know that it was Delhi was made an NCT after 61st amendment. Okay, 61st amendment or 69th. Okay, 61st or 69th. Yeah, I think it's 69th amendment. So it was made NCT after this amendment, and then the region around Delhi was turned into National Capital Region, and this NCR was given a board called National Capital Region Planning Board, and its secretariat, earlier they had a plan, Regional Plan 2021. So the pollution is raising quite alarmingly at alarming rate, and the use of resources in Delhi capital region is also at very high rate. The consumption is at very high rate. Some data suggests that in 2005 the NCR region was hardly 30,000 kilometers. Then in 1989. Then in 2005 it became 34,000 kilometers. Then now it is 55,000 kilometers. It is almost doubled over past 30 years. And this Delhi core has only 1400 square kilometer of area. So this much is the region, this much is the population which is going. This Delhi NCR region would be the most populous capital region globally by the 2030, and this has been prospected by the UN Prospects Report of 2020, that global prospects report of population. Okay, so for this the planning is very much important, and regional planning can ensure that the local needs are fulfilled, that the things may go in a sustainable manner. Okay, the SDG 11 goal here comes into play, that we can develop sustainable urban places, resilient places, right? Disaster resilient, inclusive, sustainable, all those could only be fulfilled if we have proper regional plan for a place for next 20 to 30 years. Okay, so this forthcoming regional plan with 20 years horizon of 2041 would be a challenging task, and it should be done through an inclusive consultative exercise with active participation of all the stakeholders, as our urban minister Mr. M. Puri is saying that this would be done, and it is under process. And he said that this process is under meeting. The 13th meeting of this NCRPB was held, is an important point. Okay, so recently a survey was conducted, and survey was conducted by this Consumer Unity and Trust Society, CUTS International. It's an international civil society organization. So in their survey, they found that they conducted a survey in Rajasthan and found that 61% of the consumers in the villages of Rajasthan are completely unaware of the hazards of trans fat. You know trans fat? Trans fat, it is kind of saturated fats which cause harm. Okay, they are kind of problems which lead to the problem of cardiovascular diseases. One of the biggest killer, okay, one of the biggest cause for death, a non-communicable disease. You might know about the 6 major NCDs, and one of the biggest non-communicable disease, and one such biggest is this cardiovascular disease or the heart-related disease. We recently celebrated the World Heart Day. The other is cancer, tuberculosis. Okay, the rest of the 6. So CUTS, this society has done this survey, and what they have found, that instead of decreasing this the consumption of industrially produced partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, or this is trans fat, has actually increased by 19% in the pre-lockdown level in rural areas in Rajasthan. So the thing is, though now if you are aware, you might have found that various biscuits and this namkeens, the products of various these food processing companies, you might find that they have now this tax of 0% trans fat. 0% trans fat. Okay, you might check on your product that if it has this trans fat or not, because trans fat gets deposited in your arteries, and if you are aware of that myocardiac infarction, it gets deposited in your arteries and it reduces or it narrows the blood vessels. Okay, so this increases the pressure, and this even may lead to clogging of blood vessel, leading to heart attack, which is called as this myocardiac infarction. Okay, so the one must be aware. Healthy lifestyle is important. Healthy food is important. You might know about the Eat Right campaign. Eat Right campaign of FSI. I told you about this, that FSI started this campaign and has also won the International Rockefeller Prize, the food prize 2050. Okay, so this Eat Right campaign and also Indian government, they have decided to eliminate the trans fat from India by the year 2022. This is the objective. Okay, and in this report has been released in the backdrop of WHO's second press report on global trans fat elimination, and to remind India of its commitment to eliminate the trans fat from food supply by year 2022. Okay, so most of us are aware of the trans fat when it is related to dalda. Okay, the common brand name of vanaspati ghee, but most of the consumers are not aware of the margarine or bakery shortenings which are being used in this vegetable oil. Okay, hydrogenated in the form of this vegetable hydrogenated oils. So they are quite risky for your health, and please do check on your packets, on your food packets, whether it has trans fat or not. Become aware citizen and do contribute to the government's targets. Okay, now the Farm Acts. Now we are going to discuss the federal thing of the Farm Act recently released. So let me give you a background. Recently 3 farm bills were now they have been converted into acts after getting the president's assent. So they have been passed by the central government, and what they are, the one is these acts include the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion Facilitation Act. Okay, FATCF, kind of you can say FATC. Okay, the second one is this Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Prices Assurance and Farm Adversaries Act 2020. Okay, so it is all about farmers protection price assurance, Farmers Price Assurance Act. Okay, and the third one is Essential Commodities Act. These 3 acts has been passed. So see what these act means too. So this FATC, which is all about trade and commerce, is meant to allow the farmers, actually all these 3 are aimed at allowing the farmers to sell their products anywhere and to anyone. Anywhere and to anyone. Until now we had this APMC, Agriculture Produce Marketing Committees. This APMC was formed under an act where APMC mandis were created. You might have heard that the sabji wala is getting vegetable from the mandi. So those mandis were the marked place where this farmers they were used to sell their produce. And this was decided by the state government that farmers will sell their produce to the mandis, and the mandis will be headed or would have a proper structure so that they can take it at particular price, at competitive price, and then from mandis it can be outsourced to the markets. But the problem with this APMC mandis was that the cartel formation and the number of intermediaries came to rise. And this cartel formation actually reduced the price remuneration that was realized by the farmers. Their farmers used to get very low price for their produce, while the consumers were charged very heavy price. Okay, you might have heard that the potato was hardly 5 rupees per kg in the at the farmer, and it was 50 rupees per kg at the consumer. So where this 45 rupees going? So it was to the intermediaries, and this was the problem realized by the government. But the agriculture is totally a state subject. Agriculture is totally a state subject. We will deal with this all. So agriculture is totally a state subject. So state government, the central government then came. It actually, these kind of legislation are actually guidelines which central government comes. They are not legislation; they are guidelines. So the central government came with modified APMC Act so that this cartel formation could be reduced. Okay, but it was only that when the states would adopt this modified APMC, so only few states adopted, and yes, some reforms were made. And then central government came with e-nam so that farmers can sell their produce online on this online mandi portals, so that they can have better remunerative price, with the objective of doubling the farm income by 2022. You might know this all. Okay, so this was the whole scenario. Now what the government wants, the government wants to deregulate the farm sector. The central government wants that better price realization could be done by the farmers, so by selling their products in the open market. Okay, by selling their products in the open market. So this has been allowed under this new 3 acts, that they can sell their products outside the mandi, open market. And the government wants more private player to enter the regime, more private players to enter the regime, so that they can directly purchase from the open market, and the role of intermediaries could be curbed, so that the farmers can realize better prices. This is the whole objective what the central government is saying. Okay, but the things on the other side, why the farmers are then protesting? The farmers are protesting because 23 crops, they are being under these vital crops are being under the MSP regime. What MSP regime is? Minimum support price. This support price is being this CACP, Cabinet Committee on Agricultural Affairs, the CACP. Okay, I don't remember exact name. So there's and it is FSP for this sugarcane, only FSP for sugarcane, rest one is MSP for other 23 crops. So this MSP is decided by a cabinet committee, and it is the floor price, that is the minimum price. For suppose for wheat this year, I think it's 1850. Okay, so wheat can be sold at the minimum price of rupees 1850 per 100 kg. Per 100 kg. This would be the minimum price for any kind of market all over India. So this price is reached after this committee comes to the various points. They see what the production is, what the inputs farmer have to give, what they actually need for their survival. So all these things, and the production of the total production cost 1.5 times is usually the MSP is capped. And in last few years, MSP have been increased the government has increased, seeking this 1.5 times the production cost target. So now the MSP is the basic price at which the farmers sell their produce. So the benefits of this MSP is that farmers need not to, they are not getting in the web of the intermediaries, the cartels, the private players, and actually they can ensure at least this much. Though most of the farmers do not sell to the mandis, and they often go to the private players, so that they can easily sell, because in mandis selling is quite a task. So they can easily sell, and especially from their house only, so that the private player could come to their house and take the crop. But this MSP plays a role. If not at 1850, their crop would be sold at 1800 or 1750. Still then the price realization would be good. Otherwise, when in the season of produce, suppose this Rabi crops comes into place in this March to May duration. Okay, the wheat crop comes in March to May duration. So when there is very large scale production of wheat, it's very obvious that the competitive market prices would be very low. So there would be distress selling, the farmers would, if MSP would not have been there, the distress selling would have been there. The farmers would be selling their produce for even the low price, even up to rupees 1000 per 100 kilogram. The reason being that during this season, the farmers want money for various things they have planned for over the last 6 months. When they were sowing, they were harvesting, all the agriculture processes were going on, so they need money to repay the loans, to do other course of their, okay. So farmer needs money, so this MSP ensures that is kind of price insurance given to the farmers. But when this open market and private players come into play, the farmers and the opposition parties, they are of the apprehension that this MSP regime would go away. These acts actually allow for the contract farming, open selling of products outside the mandis. So this would lead to reducing or disappearing of the MSP regime. So this is the whole case of this 3 Farm Act or the 3 Farm Bills. Okay, I hope now it is very much clear to you. So this is the MSP is the main center point along which the entire thing is revolving. Okay. So let us see what the constitutionality of today's Farms Act is. These 3 Farms Act have been passed. Now what we know is that the state, the agriculture is a state subject which has been listed in the entry 14 of the list 2 of the schedule 7. You know that schedule 7 has 3 lists. The first is union list, second is state list, and third is concurrent list. So this list second, entry 14, covers the agriculture being the state subject. Then list entry 26, entry 27, and entry 28 talks about the trade and commerce within the state, the production and distribution of goods, and the market and fairs. All these being the state subject, and they are related to agriculture. So agriculture and its subsidiaries and ancillaries are completely in the domain of state, and state has the prerogative to make laws on them. But the problem arises with that entry 33 in the list 3 in the concurrent list. The central government directly has no manner in no manner central can directly make laws. But in entry 33 list 3 concurrent list, which says that the entry 26 and 27 are subjected to entry 33 of list 3. That is, it covers various industries where union can make law, by the parliament can make law for import of goods of the same kind, such product, edible oil, seed oils, cattle fodder, okay, then this raw cotton, raw jute. So this provision was actually not there in the concurrent list, but it was added after the 3rd amendment in 1954, and even then there was quite of debate and dissent on this matter of addition. Because earlier, when the constitution was framed, the agriculture was put in the domain of state. But for the 5 years, it was given to union, given the very poor condition of India's food security and poor production in agriculture sector. So union was given this prerogative for 5 years only by the constitution makers. They knew that after the conditions would become normal, the states can handle it, and they should handle it because it's kind of regional subject. The conditions vary from region to region, and they have peculiar needs that can only be fulfilled if agriculture is a state subject. That was recognized by our constitutional framers. Okay, but the problem arises when this 3rd amendment actually led to the cause of transferring or entering this entry 3 in the 3rd list or in the concurrent list. Now the central government has got the idea to breach the domain of state subject. So there came this article 369 was that constitution article which gave the responsibility of agriculture, trade and commerce within the ambit of state temporarily to the union government for the 5 years. So 369 was the article. Now it has been amended. Okay, so and these few members did not wanted to do this, but T.D. Ramakrishnachari said that this safeguard is necessary to prevent the agriculture sector as it is in very poor condition. So this is a tussle between the center and state, a federal tussle which has been going on since that 3rd amendment was made. And this entry 33 actually in the whole summary of this article comes here, that it was very unwise of central government to use entry 33 in the list 3 to push the farm bills. Such an adventurism would be against the cooperative spirit of federalism which the central government often talks about. Secondly, the agriculture is exclusively the state subject, all its ancillaries and subsidiaries, and is exclusive in list 2, and it also falls exclusively under the prerogative of states. So the central government should not breach these limits. Otherwise, this would turn this government into unitary form of government. Our federalism would wane out. Okay, so the thing is that though they can be correct, the validity constitution, and in these cases proper government, okay, case of abuse of these courts, all the grains or all the very tricky situation between center and state. And what solutions are there? So the states have been suggested, like Punjab is considering to take the APMC Act as a mandi, though there are some complexities in this, and whether the APMC Act permits to do the same or not, but Punjab is trying to circumvent in this manner. If they declare entire state as a mandi, where outside mandi will the farmer go to sell their produce? Okay, so this is one such way. And then also another way is the use of Article 31, where the Supreme Court discusses the federal matters, right? So the state can challenge this these two laws. Actually there are three, but ESA, essential commodities, is not violative. So these two laws can be challenged in Supreme Court of violating the state's territory, okay, its state's legislative territory. Then state government could explore the potential of granting MSP, so that given MSP, the farmers, if increased MSP would be there, and it have legislative backing, because still now this MSP regime has no legislative backing. So if it has got the legislative backing and farmers have the right to sell at MSP, then they will definitely automatically come to sell in the mandis rather than going outside where they are realizing the lower prices. So I think this one is quite good, because if MSP is greater, then farmer would come to mandis. Otherwise, if private players are having this, they are giving better remuneration, then farmers could go on to the private players. This solution seems a very kind of balanced solution. Okay, but this has to be in continuation. Otherwise, initially the private players will distort the market by giving very high price, and then when these rules would get lax, then they will start exploitation. So this kind of protection should be there. Okay. Also, the positions are demanding that the private players should be asked to take crops at MSP, but this cannot be done. The reason being the Article 301, which provides for the free trade and commerce in the territory of the country. Okay, so the thing is that state can constitutionally challenge these laws, especially this Article 254 ka 2. I told you about this article in my, I think, 1st October, the Hindu analysis. So you can see that, and this article is all about the states challenging the central action. Okay, is in some cases. So you can check it. Okay. Let me give you a hint that state can challenge the central laws. They can override the central law on a concurrent subject if the president gives an assent. That was the article that I talked about, that if state's law get the assent of president, then it can override the central law on the matters of concurrent subject. Okay. So let's move towards the next article, friends. So this is also from agriculture. I hope you can bear on this, because this is quite long, but covering this video would clarify all your doubts related to those farm bills. I think you are quite confused with the farm bills. Okay, so MSP, only 6% of India's farmers sell at the MSP. This has been from a survey data. And still the farmers, the protest which is widening even in the states like the Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, okay, where the MSP selling is quite low. Okay, even the procurement by the government is very low. Even there the farmers are protesting in support of MSP. So they want this continuation of MSP even if there is limited procurement. Reason being that various surveys from the various government, let us see this RBI 2018 survey for MSP for crops, which says that farmers actually take their decisions based on MSP, what crops to grow. When they were asked that which scheme of the government is helping farmers most, 51% of the respondents said that MSP, because it provides them insurance, a limited reference price. Okay, then the second thing was in helping right cropping decision or better price realization. So here also 29% farmers said that MSP, procurement at MSP helps them decide better crops. And this is why it has been asked that apart, more than 23 vital crops should be included, more crops should be included in this MSP regime so that crop diversification could be done with the help of MSP, right? And reliable weather forecast is also one such government program which helps 60% of the farmers to decide on what crops to grow. The Niti Aayog data from this financial year 08 to 2011 shows that the MSP is being the farmers, though they do not even sell on the MSP, still they want its continuation. This is the best thing they want. Okay, this they say that MSPs help farmer from the exploitation. They say in various states this survey has covered the percentage of people knowing about this. Like in Andhra Pradesh, all people know about this. Bihar 55%, Gujarat 33% know about the MSP. In Karnataka, Bellary 80% know. And what they all say that it is the MSP helps them from exploitative practices. It helps them plan the next season and improve productivity. It helps them realize better remuneration. It helps them ensure a minimum price, kind of insured price. Okay, it prevents them from exploitation and increases this productivity, reduces the middleman interference. Okay, stabilizes the market price so that they can sell their produce at better price, income security, marketability of the produce. So these are all the benefits of MSP. If you want, you can write them. And this is the thing why the farmers want MSP, even if they are not selling at the MSP. Okay. So that's all about the agriculture domain, friend. Now coming to the next topic, which is related to the new guidelines for school. So recently this Ministry of Education has allowed the schools to be reopened by 15th of October. And they have come with various guidelines. Our education minister, Mr. Ramesh Nishank Pokhriyal, he has given several guidelines that state should take. Consent of the parent is very much necessary. If only when the parent gives the consent, then only the school could ask a student to come to school. Okay, otherwise the home tuition or the home study at home would be allowed. Okay, as the parents want for their child. So no forcing would be there for the students to attend school. Okay, even they can even study from home. But we all know that in India this kind of situation is very impossible. Schools would come with the circulars or orders of their own, and they will say if you are not sending your student, we will fail them, or we will do this or that kind of fees. We will charge every fees. So we all know what is going on in India. Okay. Despite the central government's interference, the fees in the school fees has been quite significant, and it has been rising at very fast rate, and very little has been done for it. Okay, so let us see what the guidelines are. The emergency task teams have to be formed by the schools so that they can provide proper support and response, commodity support and hygiene inspection, proper disinfecting and cleaning of all areas, furniture, equipment should be done. Then SOP should be formed, better arrangement of seating and classes should be done, proper entry and exit point should be there, social distancing should be maintained. अब इसमें से कितना हो पाता है ये देखना पड़ेगा, because they are Indian schools, right? So and this mask is very compulsory for both teachers. Sensitization, kind of providing them better information to both teacher and student over the COVID-19 should be there. Then plan of academic calendar should be there, and ensuring availability of full-time healthcare attendant, nurse and doctors and counselors for the mental health of students and teachers, so that and regular checkup should be there. And the transition of student from home-based to schooling to the school-based schooling would now be a tough task. Okay, but the thing is that this should be done with precaution. We have recently seen that the CEO survey of this ICMR says that 7% of India's population might be infected with the virus, which amounts to 62 million. And we are only figuring around this 70 or 6 or 7 million at now. The official figures are at this level. So we all know that coronavirus infections are quite large, and the figures they are given. But the thing is that yes, now people have developed a kind of immunity. Okay, we don't know. Actually, the thing is we don't know. It seems, but it may not be true. Okay, so the thing is, we need to take precaution, we need to take safety, because lot many people are still dying because of the coronavirus. Even today I saw a news that one congress minister, one of the congress party leader, died because of the coronavirus. So still the people are dying, and the total deaths have crossed at 1 lakh. So we have to be worried, we have to be cautious. Okay, and opening of school now seems a bit hasty decision. It could be delayed because small children, they are very much prone to catching the disease, and they can become the new carriers. Okay, because they are collecting at one place, and in school children don't know. The children actually don't know what they need to do. They start the gatherings they will make will actually may lead to further rise in infection. So that was it. So that was my concern for school reopening. Now coming back to our topics. So quad is the meeting of quad is to be held in Tokyo on Tuesday, that is today, sorry. And the foreign minister, external affairs minister, Mr. S. Jaishankar, and his counterparts from Australia, Japan, and US. You all know that quad is a quadruple of India, US, Japan, and Australia. All these 4 countries, they are joining hands. The main purpose we all know is that it is an anti-China sentiment which is bringing them together. Anti-China sentiment. Even China has said they criticize the meeting being exclusively a cliche anti-China frontline or a mini NATO based on US Cold War mentality. But seeking the aggression of China on the LAC, the East China Sea, South China Sea, and their aggression in Hong Kong and Taiwan, this step is very much necessary to control them. Okay, yes, this is very much necessary that global powers should come together to teach a lesson to an aggressive hegemonic power of 21st century. Okay, so what the agenda is, they are trying to discuss the cooperation on 5G connectivity, cyber security, supply chain and manufacturing, cooperation on infrastructure and connectivity, and distribution of COVID-19 vaccine, so as to take an alternative route to the Chinese initiative, especially in this 5G and cyber security manner. Okay, but Japan is also keen on building trade ties, which is on their agenda, because India has left this RCEP. So Japan wants India and Australia to join the supply chain resilience initiative of Japan, so that these quad can develop a trade initiative of their own, so that they can have better economic relationship in future. Okay, and this east-west connectivity from India to ASEAN, this is actually for India. India wants to improve the east-west connectivity, the connectivity between the US and India, okay, and Japan, so and Australia, and this to reduce the north-south connectivity that the China is having with the ASEAN countries. We need to improve our connectivity with the ASEAN countries, and India wants proper funding of the developmental and connectivity projects in Indo-Pacific. And this is also that part of Blue Dot network. You might have read about it, so I'm not going to discuss it here. Okay, we can discuss it separately. So entire thing is all about the discussion, the entire anti-China sentiments that are going on, then what cooperation these parties, these quad members can make on for improving the global economic growth, maintaining peace and stability, and ensuring the free navigation and implementation of international laws, respect for the rule of law, international rule of law. That is the main idea. Okay, so one or two more topic. So this is the last one, this is the last topic, friend. So in this last topic, I am going to talk about the virtual summit held recently in India, where 123 countries are expecting to take part. And it is basically about the artificial intelligence, which India wants to be a global hub of artificial intelligence. And yes, India has been working on this idea. And what our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, is saying is stress on the need of transparency and accountability, which is very much necessary, especially the algorithm transparency, so that the trust can be developed, mutual trust can be developed between the technology sharers, those who are sharing the technology, those who are holding it. then only we can have a proper mechanism for use of artificial intelligence for the benefit of mankind. Otherwise, if it goes to the end and it becomes a weapon of non-state actors, then especially it can be used by states like Pakistan or other states for harming the other state rather than benefiting themselves. The main agenda of Pakistan is to harm India rather than benefit themselves. So same is the case here. If these kind of nations, not only Pakistan, there are many such nations across the world. So if these kind of nations, they get this technology, they will definitely going to use it to harm others. Okay. So this transparency and accountability is very much necessary. Mr. Modi also said that creativity and emotion, they are the biggest strength of humans, and these are very much required to overcome these machines. They are kind of unique advantages, right? And we should have them so that we can have both intellect and empathy. Mukesh Ambani, who was attending this summit, he stressed the urgent need for regulatory framework on data. So that you all know the draft data protection bill have been suggested by this Shri Krishna committee, and which has said that India needs this draft data protection bill to ensure the privacy and security of its data. Okay, and this bill has been in use quite a lot, and there has been demands that this bill should become an act as soon as possible. And Mr. Ambani is also demanding that such sound data regulation is necessary to protect the natural resource and ensure data privacy, because the data is now becoming the digital capital. It is the raw, for AI the raw material is data, and this digital capital, this is now becoming an arena of competition in the coming days. Okay, so we need a proper data protection bill. Coming to the next topic, this is about the changing, you can say, climate change. There has been risk that Amazon may change from forest into savanna. So they are being called the lungs of the earth. And if this change is going to occur, then this could have disastrous impact on overall climate and even the life on earth. Okay, so the greenhouse gases emission has reduced the rainfall, and this is not enough to sustain the unique ecosystem that Amazon rainforest have. Study published in Nature says this. Okay, so with this I would now like to say thank you, friends, and I hope I have contributed well to your knowledge, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Though I know it was quite long, but I covered a few topics in exhaustive manner. Okay, so thanks for listening, and have a nice day. Thank you.